The world of John Wick always comes with surprises for its fans. If you are a John Wick fan, in this video we're going to talk all about the Continental that blew away fans. So stay with us till the end of the video to know everything about this series, and let's get started. The Continental, from the world of John Wick, is all about cool suits, epic shootouts, and that secret hotel where killers go to relax, but not to kill each other. If you've seen the John Wick movies, you already know this world. Well, this show goes back in time and tells us about Winston Scott's past. He's one of the coolest characters in the world of John Wick. In the 1970s, they wore bell-bottom pants and disco balls. New York City looked like it does in old movies. Here is where we meet young Winston. Trust me, this is a great time to be living, especially if you are a criminal mastermind who is also trying to stay alive. The first episode of the show goes off on New Year's Eve, and Winston Scott's brother, Frankie, chooses to steal something very important while everyone else is having a good time at the Continental Hotel. And by special, I mean a press that the high table uses to make gold coins. Those gold coins are pretty important in the world of John Wick. They're like cash in the world of secret assassins, so this little theft sets off a chain reaction that's stronger than a firecracker. But Frankie is not just any thief, there are bad things in his past that he wants to talk about. Frankie and Winston were raised by Cormac O'Connor, who is now the boss of the Continental, and kind of feels like a father figure to them. However, let's not go into too much detail about the family problem just yet. Frankie is turned bad, and Cormac doesn't like it. What does he do then? Winston is taken by him so that he can find Frankie, a classic move by a bad guy, right? Winston plays dumb because he's such a good talker. Frankie, who? He asks. Cormac doesn't believe it, so he attaches a tail to Winston in the hopes that he will lead them right to his brother. Winston is not a fool. He knows someone is following him, so he starts to move to hide from them. To get things done, Winston teams up with Charlie, an old friend who has been through a lot and knows how to handle himself. Winston meets Lou and Miles, two brothers who run a karate school and are also gun runners. Charlie brings them to Winston because, well, why not combine heavy weapons with martial arts, right? It's a perfect match for an action movie. Frankie and Miles fought together in Vietnam, and Miles now helps Winston find his brother. In the end, they find Frankie and his wife Yen hiding in Alphabet City in an empty movie theater. It's never that easy though. They thought they were safe until Cormac's killers showed up, and then everything went crazy. There are gunshots, fistfights, and so much chaos that you have to wonder why anyone would agree to meet in an empty movie theater. The three of them barely get away, but they go back to Charlie's house because they think their attackers are gone. But guess what? One of Charlie's friends has told Cormac about them. They're on the run again before they can even catch their breath. They end up on a roof this time where Frankie has hidden a helicopter, and you might think this is their way out, but the universe has other ideas. Yen and the pilot get hurt, and Frankie gives up his life to save Winston and Yen because he knows they won't all make it out alive. An emotional scene in which Winston's brother is killed by twin killers, known as Hansel and Gretel. You can almost feel his heart breaking. Yes, those are their real names, and they're just as creepy as you'd think. Now, Winston has a job to do. He lost his brother, but now he has a reason to get even, payback. He's not going to settle for just getting even, he's going to beat Cormac and take the Continental for himself. This is the point where Winston's change takes off. He changes from a smooth operator to a man with a goal, putting together a group of people who are very different from each other. They bring in more than just Miles and Lou. A shooter named Jane Jenkins and a tough-as-nails fighter with a grudge are also involved. The team even has Yen on it, who is still sad about Frankie. There is something she wants to say to Cormac, and she's not going to hold back. The High Table, the mysterious people who run the world from behind the scenes, sends an adjudicator to the Continental while all of this is going on. If Cormac does not find the stolen coin press in 3 days, this person is going to tell him what will happen. Cormac is getting tense because a lot is at stake. At the same time, Lou is having her problems. The new Chinese mafia boss wants to gain more power, so she's trying to keep her father's school from falling into his hands. It's just a side story, but it gives Lu's character more depth and shows that she has her problems to deal with. Next is Sharon, who works as a receptionist at the hotel. He believes he's loyal to Cormac, but things get tricky when Winston's team offers to switch sides. Sharon is pulled between his duty to do what's right and his love for Cormac. Cormac is doing some shady things like killing Thomas, a hotel cellist who was going to leave and study music in Ireland. This doesn't help. Plan of Cormac? To bring Sharon's dad from Nigeria to work at the hotel instead of him. Sharon is about to lose everything because of this sick power play. Sharon makes his voice in the end. He chooses to help Winston and his team, which changes the situation for the better. There is still time to do the right thing in this dark world, which is why this is such an important moment. Winston's team is getting ready to storm the Continental and kill Cormac for good now that Sharon is on their side. But just when you think everything is going to be okay, Hansel and Gretel kidnap Winston and kill Lu and Katie, a character who has been building up slowly but surely. It turns out that Katie doesn't like Winston and Frankie either. Cormac told people to kill her family, and she's been waiting for her chance to get back at him. Winston says sorry for what he did and gives her medicine. So, Katie lets him go. You never really know which way she's going to go until the very last second. It's a scary moment. Along with this, Cormac goes to the 13th floor of the Continental, which is a secret area. There is a control room that looks like it belongs in a spy movie. He's going to start the defense unit routine, which will make everything go through the roof. But Lu decides to join the fight instead after learning that her father's school was built on the bodies of the people who used to live there. She bombs the dojo to destroy the past and fully commits to the fight going on right now. They just make it in time to meet Cormac with Winston and Katie. A fight scene with high stakes, exciting action, and a satisfying ending is what you'd expect from a John Wick spin-off. Katie gets back at Cormac by killing him, and Winston breaks the rules to save the hotel. In the end, the adjudicator tells Winston how happy he is to be in charge of the Continental. But Winston isn't quite done yet because he's Winston. He says that the stolen press was hidden in the old car that he and Frankie used to live in when they were kids. Finally, he kills the adjudicator right in front of the hotel, which is a real shock. Talk about making a point. You know what? The history of how this show came to be is almost as interesting as the show itself. Derek Kolstad and Chad Stahelski had the idea for the Continental in January 2017 while they were working on John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. They thought that a prequel would work better as a TV show than a movie, and by June 2017, they were well into the making process. There was always going to be a lot of attention on the Continental, the hotel where killers go to stay safe in the world of John Wick. Mel Gibson and Colin Woodell were cast as the main characters in October 2021. Gibson would play Cormac and Woodell would play a younger version of Winston. Some people didn't like that Gibson was cast, but Lionsgate stuck to their guns. Also, Aomide Edigun as the younger Sharon, Peter Green as Uncle Charlie, and Katie McGrath as the adjudicator were all great choices for minor roles. From November 2021 to March 2022, the movie was shot in Budapest, Hungary. They picked Budapest because it had the right mix of old-world charm and gritty city streets that were needed for the show. Plus, the fact that Hungary had some great text breaks didn't hurt. So which part of this movie do you adore the most? Share with us in the comment section below. If you enjoyed watching the video, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.